Coming up. At the bottom of the barrel, we then have the victims layer. This is the people that are affected by this. A lot is done.
It has been my aim that I want to demonstrate that the criminal justice system has been subject to a continuous threat.
It's not properly corrected, then there is no case. If the crime scene is tampered with, there's no case. If they cannot track syndicates, there's no case. At the bottom of this particular layer, we're talking about the bodies. We're talking about the body of Jimmy Mohlala. He's dead. Babita Deokaran is dead. The justice system, my people, is about to completely collapse. Oh my goodness. Our top cop today, my people, the general, literally walked into a packed courtroom and dropped the most explosive testimony that I think he has done in South African history. Okay, what he revealed under oath today will shock you. This is about our future, my people. This is about a complete breakdown of the system that's supposed to protect us. It's supposed to protect you, and it's supposed to protect your family. And it's happening right in front of our eyes right now. We are blessed and that we are privy to this information. I'm going to break it down to you because I too am just so shocked. What? So, Lt-Gen Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the KZN top cop that we all know, love and cherish, he is very experienced, my people. He has been a 30-year police veteran, and he said that himself as he started speaking. This is actually quite important because we must understand the person that is saying these bombshells. There's no way you can't listen if you know the person who's saying it. So he has 30 years of experience as a police officer, okay? And he just became the star witness in the 147 million Red Madlanga Commission. As I was listening to him, I was just so blown away. This man has trained with the FBI, my people. This man has literally trained with the U.S. Department of Justice. Do you hear me?
And many other training programs within the South African Police Service, including other training abroad, such as in the United States of America and the U.S. Department of Justice Federal Bureau, where I attended training programs on a supervisor's role in counter-terrorism investigations, as well as Louisiana State University, where I attended a crisis response training. There's training programs that I attended at International Paul Tingley Management Services, which was a development program for high-performance managers, amongst others. As I said, Commissioner, there are many other developments that I had within the South African Police Service. I've counted some of them from Task Force, Public Order Police, and the likes.
So he's not just a police officer, he understands the law, he understands the Constitution, and he understands what must happen in court. He understands the entire value chain, from you being caught, to you going to jail, to being charged, to being incarcerated, to coming out and being regrouped. What I'm trying to say to you is he understands the steps of every single position and every single process within the value chain of this criminal process that people go through. So that is a lot. This man was also trained, guys, in the International Counterterrorism Unit. That on its own is huge because if many of you remember 9/11, it was the worst thing that the USA had actually ever gone through during Osama bin Laden's time, where the act of terrorism was just so bad. And now the USA is literally way ahead of us when it comes to crime intelligence because of that particular incident that happened. They knew it had to be fixed somehow. And we're talking about a man that knows and understands these systems because he's been there. What? Okay, anyway, 2 months ago, if you remember, he did something that obviously shocked all of us. Well, not 2 months, 3 months ago. He sent shockwaves to my people, and this was when he had a press conference that literally exposed corruption in such a deep manner. The way he exposed corruption, I have never in my life seen. I don't even think we'll ever get to experience such a wave of expression in the manner that he did, to be honest. This, my people, forced President Ramaphosa to launch this particular commission, okay? And today I'm happy because under oath, he's naming names, guys. He isn't, well, others he didn't name, but he is coming. And he was revealing how close we are to a total collapse. So remember when I told you to go get your boss and your boss's boss and your children and your neighbors and the reason why I want you to do that is because we are almost, this is a putuma, this is urgent, okay? So here's what Mkhwanazi just told us today in the commission, okay? In actual fact, let me just read his exact words under oath, which is what he said. He said, the criminal justice system has been subject to continuous threat and sabotage. We believe there is a real risk of total collapse if nothing is done.
It has been my aim that I want to demonstrate that the criminal justice system has been subject to a continuous threat, as well as sabotage, which has been with us over an extended period, to a point where we believe it is at real risk of a total collapse if nothing is done. Therefore, urgent and effective interventions are required in order to avert this outcome. And I believe this commission will stand to play a very important role in order to help us to prevent this total collapse of the justice system in our country.
That, my people, should say a lot, okay? Total collapse. Those are maximum words. That is the extreme of something. But here's the part that would obviously terrify you as a South African. He said, this briefing is a product of a collective and a collaborative effort. Do you understand? Of various units within the SAPS.
I must indicate, Commissioner, that this briefing which I made on the 6th of July, it is a product of the collective and collaborative efforts of various units within the South African Police Service, the majority of men and women in blue in this service who were responsible for, together with myself, in compiling this document. It is therefore a reflection of the common concerns that we share as colleagues in different ranks within the service, which made us to have a common desire for these problems to be resolved, and in order to enable these members of the service to be able to serve with honor and dignity.
That statement on its own, my people, is so pregnant. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there are people in the SAPS that can see that we are going to lose our country and we want to do the right thing. And because we want to do the right thing, let us align with people who also want to do the right thing to protect this thing of ours. There is nothing as amazing, according to me, as having people work together for a good cause, because there are others that don't seem to care about this good cause. But at the same time, that on its own should tell you that not all police women or women in blue are bad and want things to not work. This was refreshing for me, although I do have a negative part to talk about, but we'll talk about the negative part of things later in the video, okay? So now, he also said the majority of men and women in blue who share these common concerns collaboratively worked together, okay? This, my people, isn't just a one-man's opinion. When Mkhwanazi is sitting on that chair, he is not just representing himself. He is representing a lot of people who are in blue, who want to see change when it comes to the SAPS. It is not about Mkhwanazi only, and I'm so happy because he is a leader who is not only able to acknowledge that he did not do it himself, but also fully blown say it was a collective effort. He could have just said, yes, it's me because it's the leader. But that is a good leader, according to me. Wow. So now he continues to say this is a systemic crisis, right? That hundreds of honest police officers have been witnessing, and they are all scared to speak out. When we are at a point where people now find it hard to become whistleblowers or to tell the truth, it's a challenge, my people, and that is why I understand why he says it may be in the brink of total collapse. Because when you take away people's voices, they are left with nothing. What they will then do is become yes ma'ams and yes sirs and end up doing things that they are not supposed to do, because they are protecting their families, they are protecting their jobs, they are protecting their future, and many other things in particular, especially if they were maybe threatened in whichever manner they could have been. And to be honest, Mkhwanazi says, yes, they don't want to speak out, they're afraid, but I will stand up for all of them. I'll stand up for the collective of people who do not want to speak out but have information that can assist us in making a difference in this SAPS. And that for me was very amazing, my people. But here's where it gets really dark, right? Mkhwanazi didn't just say that the system is broken, my people. My challenge is he explained exactly how it's being destroyed from the inside. When someone knows the details of what they're talking about, it becomes very challenging for you to say they are seeing things or to discredit their testimony, because they understand what is going on, they have carefully thought through what they want to say, and they have proof to back it up. That on its own should tell you the importance of what is currently going on, but also it must tell you the kind of caliber Mkhwanazi actually is as a person and as a leader. What Mkhwanazi revealed, my people, is a lot about the police structure. He called detective services and crime intelligence and forensic services the heartbeat of policing. When he said that, my heart was like, yeah, man, this is very, it's very descriptive, it's very, there are verbs and that he uses to just have a very graphical vision of what he's trying to talk about, and not think about the complicated words and things that you may not understand. And for me, that is beyond commendable. Now, he then continued to say, these are the people, this heartbeat that he spoke about. He's saying this heartbeat are the people who find themselves collecting evidence at crime scenes. The heartbeat are those people that track criminal syndicates through cell phones. The heartbeat of the SAPS are people who conduct covert operations. The heartbeat of the SAPS are the people who build cases against corrupt officials. That on its own is a challenging thing if I think about it from a very descriptive perspective. But what he's trying to say to you is even the people that you look at and don't think are important. They are very important, because if evidence is not properly corrected, then there is no case. If the crime scene is tampered with, there's no case. If they cannot track syndicates, there's no case. If there are no cell phone towers that are being checked, there's no case. If they cannot conduct operations properly, there's no case. If they cannot build cases against corrupt officials, then there's no case. Meaning, there is a lot of things, according to what he's saying, there is a lot of things that this heartbeat must make sure they do right for something to win. There is a lot that this heartbeat must do in order to make sure that the case is seen through. But imagine if the heartbeat is having a lot of obstructions on the way. Just by missing one step can make the whole thing become a problem. And unfortunately, I understand his frustration and the other people. The heartbeat, I must repeat again, these are detectives that are in the police service. These are crime intelligence individuals, and these are also the forensic services that are working in the SAPS, my people. I hope you got that. And now, here's the terrifying part that I want you to grasp as well. This is exactly what the corruption network is targeting. Because they know that the heartbeat is what carries a case, they are going to make sure the heartbeat or the heart gets a heart attack so the heart does not beat anymore. I'm sorry. They will make sure that the heartbeat stops beating because they don't want to find themselves in jail, And they know for sure because they are the ones that control everything. So now what the challenge then becomes is having to understand how this particular thing works. And I want us to just quickly look at this particular diagram, this organogram, for you to understand in detail what I'm trying to say, and also what General Mkhwanazi is trying to make you understand. I will walk with you slowly. Please be very patient. If I am very slow, you can just plus 1.25, just so you get the grasp and gist of this. However, I do think this may be important, even if it's not for today, but for the future, for us to go back and look at what actually was said in the commission in bits and pieces, so we can make a clear judgment of what has already been shared and what must be done. When the recommendations come from the Madlanga Commission, we can either be happy about them, or we can say, no, it did not fully represent what had been said in the Madlanga Commission, and therefore we have knowledge of what continues to happen and an analysis of what we can see in future. Okay, my people? So now, I want you to look at this official SAPS structure, okay? Mkhwanazi represented a very beautiful organogram. At the top, right, you have the National Commissioner. This is supposed to be very independent. The National Commissioner currently is Fani Masumula. It is supposed to be a very independent position. Listen to me. And then he takes direction. Fani Masumula, the National Commissioner, takes direction, okay, from the Minister of Police. What this basically means is what the Minister of Police gets from the cabinet and what must be done from the cabinet, he brings to the National Commissioner. The Minister of Police is not operational. He is policy driven, and he is a hierarchy, kind of an overarching individual that allows himself to be the reporter of what is going on in the ground to cabinet, okay? But the National Commissioner is the one that is on the ground. He deals with the operational things. Do you understand? So now, the Minister of Police currently is who? Senzo Mchunu, who is currently suspended over the exact same allegations that we are talking about today, okay? And then, I want you to walk with me. And then now, I want to show you something that is going to blow your mind. We've created this diagram, okay, based on Mkhwanazi's testimony, and I want you to understand that this is not something he showed, but this is something I understood it as, and I want you to just walk through it, because I know when I give you a diagram and you can follow through with me, I know for sure you're not going to forget what I'm saying to you today. Trust me, I know you won't. So now, this diagram shows exactly how corruption flows from the top to the bottom, okay, my people? Okay, so my people, we have something that I will say is the top layer, the one that is written political interference in red. At the very, very top, my people, you have a cabinet level kind of officials, basically. These are your ministers. So they don't get their hands dirty. No, because they are up there like kings and queens, What they do in return is they just give the orders and then they control the resources. Because remember, after the budget has been passed, it starts from the cabinet, goes straight down to the departments, and that is how the departments are able to get access to whatever resources they have and are given orders because of that. So now, certain things can be manipulated in between that particular process from a police commissioner and a police minister, if you get me. We then have a middle layer. This middle layer is based on police leadership. Remember, I said to you, the minister has a lot to do with the policy making and having to make sure that policies are implemented. And he is a bit of like an overarching person on what actually happens at the but he is the one responsible for making sure that things work well and function well, but he is not involved in the operational things. But the police leadership is what we talk about and say they are the ones that are involved in the daily things that happen, in the operational things that happen, and that is National Commissioner Fanema Sumula and also Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, basically. Now, this, my people, where we are, this middle layer, this is where this battle is happening currently. This is where the WWE SmackDown John Cena kind of battle is going on. You now have honest officers that I will say are like Abo Mkhwanazi, that I actually wrote in green. If you see, you have honest officers that are really trying to make a difference, and they are really trying to push the right thing and, you know, fight and combat corruption and, you know, put the wrong people in jail. But the problem is they themselves in the same level are fighting against compromised senior officials, and that's why they are in red. They are danger, do you understand? So these people are in the same level, but unfortunately, because they're in the same level, they are, it's a tug of war, kind of. You do something, they take, and they you know, they do the opposite. So they are fighting in this level. This level also includes Sibiya, Shadrach Sibiya. It includes the National Commissioner. It includes Mkhwanazi currently, and many other people that we have heard of, right? But I want you to notice how outnumbered the good guys are. In the SAPS, what he was trying to say, he's saying there are many people that want to do right, but it does not necessarily mean there may be more than the ones that don't want to do right. He did not say that exactly, but he implicated it in many ways of how he was explaining it. And now we then get to a point of having the bottom layer. The bottom layer is where it goes down. This is where the criminals are operating, my people. This is where it gets deadly. This is where rogue detectives like Michael Puletau, which he was mentioned in actual fact within the reports that Mkhwanazi was making in the second part of his testimony after the tea break. People like that, they are serving as police officers, but they are running assassination squads on the side. So imagine such a person. You are a police officer, but if you're running an assassination squad at the side, you can, maybe people won't even think you are part of the things that are happening until they get you, you know. So you are playing for both teams, but you know, you are mixing things up. Let me just put it like that. This is also in the bottom layer where you have these hit squads that put 23 bullets into that innocent engineer, like Armand Swart, the one that was the Transnet guy. These are the people. This is the hit squad that becomes a bit of a challenge at this point, okay? And then at the bottom of the barrel, we then have the victims layer. This is the people that are affected by this a lot, right? At the bottom of this particular layer, we're talking about the bodies. We're talking about the body of Jimmy Mohlala, he's dead. Babita Deokaran is dead. Armand Swart, dead. You know, Marumo Pena dead. All these people are actually whistleblowers. These are people that were green, that were trying to raise their hands and tell the superiors that this is wrong. There's a problem here. Please come and fix it. But before they could do that, or when they did that, and their lives were taken away from them prematurely. So these are all murdered people. However, these murdered people tell a story. And I was very happy when he said, they are murdered because they are telling the truth. That hit me. But I felt the somberness of his emotions in such a case of saying that, you know. And unfortunately, you know, these arrows that you see here, they show you exactly how the order flows, down. It flows from the top to the bottom. It flows literally from the top layer to the middle layer to the bottom layer to the victims layer. The top layer is the politics. They are interfering politically. The middle layer is the police leadership. They are now affected by the people that are giving orders at the top and controlling resources. But at the same time, they are leaders who are supposed to lead the people that are at the bottom barrel. But the people at the bottom barrel are also the ones that are creating issues. They are criminal operations. These is where Abo Madlanga go in. They are in the bottom barrel. But unfortunately, you then have people that suffer for saying what is actually happening, my people. So now, that's all I wanted you to understand for today. But I want to just quickly talk a bit about this Michael Puletau connection. I'm not so sure if I should do it in this video or maybe I should do it in the next video because it feels like a completely different story. Maybe let me post this so you get it quickly, and then I am going to post another video today though. I will post another video talking about what was actually said after this, and then there's also a second part, my people. I'm not so sure. I cannot promise that I'll post it today, but I want you to know that Mkhwanazi said a lot of things that we will probably talk about for the next months or years in actual fact, because what? Oh,